Today's video is a little different than my usual content, but I told you guys I would make a craft room video as soon as I got more completed in it. So I'll do sort of a slow pan around the whole room, and then I'll go back around again, going into more detail the second time around, because I know some people like the really detailed info, and some just want a quick tour. It's a really small room, so either way, this won't take too long. And if you have any questions, just leave those down in the comments and I will get back to you. The walls I painted white and then used a stencil over that. And then the back wall, I put some beadboard paneling up, just the cheaper plywood style of beadboard style paneling. I went into more detail about when I stenciled the walls and added that to the end of one of my recent crafting videos. You could go back and find that. If it's probably the one before last, the video before last. But I couldn't really add it all into this video again because this video did turn out longer than expected. I stained that beadboard paneling with Early American Stain. The wall above the couch, I plan on adding a wooden pegboard up there eventually. I have that as another project on the horizon. And this wall is where my desk is, where I do all my crafting. I have some paper taped to the wall behind the desk to prevent any little splashes of paint from getting on the wall as I'm doing sort of messy crafting occasionally. And now I'll go around and go into a little more detail about some organization things. These are just banker boxes, but I assembled them inside out. They do come glued in one place, and then you fold them out and then assemble them. Well, I just tore where they were glued and then assembled them inside out and then glued them that way. I used Aleene's tacky glue and clamped them and just let that glue set up. This little basket, or this bigger basket here, just holds all of my, it has plaster of Paris, air dry clay, and some oven baked clay in here. I have all my florals stuck in an old bird cage. On top of this, well, I call it a hutch, but it's an old gun cabinet. There's a little spice rack that I bought from a yard sale, and I put my smaller bottles of paint in it. And to the right of that is this little clock that I got from a yard sale. It was yellow, but I put European Gold Rub and Buff on that. These are jars from the Dollar Tree. They were $3 each in the plus section, and I bought 4 of them. I wish I would have bought more because I really like them. I like their size because you can get your hand down in them to get things out. The lids were wood, which I liked, but they're a little too modern, so I added a knob to the top. I got those from Walmart, and I wrote on there so I would remember that I got a 10-pack for $10. I'm not sure if they're still that price. But I just wood glued them to the lid. And then my husband rounded the edges of the lid for me on a larger sander that he has out in his shop. I just wanted to soften the edges to make it a little less modern. And then I stained them with antique wax. The four of these, two of them are holding tumbling tower blocks and the other two are holding clothespins. And then using some various buckets that I got from the Dollar Tree, I have dowels in the back and rulers, and then different sizes of popsicle sticks in the front. That little basket right there with the lace liner, I made that on another crafting video. Goodness, it was one of my first ones. I have this old jewelry box here and I just have some magnets and other things stored in it. I have all of my wooden beads stored into just different jars and glassware that I have. These little containers were crafts that I made in another video. I'm pretty sure it's titled Primitive Storage Solutions. I think that's in the title. And then this basket just holds my larger bottles of paint and Mod Podge. On this next shelf, I needed a solution for all of my ribbon. I was keeping them all on some paper towel holders, but that just wasn't very efficient. And so I got these tension rods from Walmart. And I just, where there isn't a shelf, above the shelf there, I just put two there to hold a row of ribbon. And then on the shelf below it, just did one tension rod there just to prevent that row from rolling off of the shelf. And this works really, really great. And those tension rods are very affordable. So the inside of this hutch is essentially like a bookcase. So this would work very well inside of a bookcase. This basket is just holding some scraps of ribbon, and I just have them wrapped around, whatever I could find. In that same storage video that I did a while back, I did different mediums mixed with brown food coloring and tinted these jars. And so I just have them all here, and you can tell each one looks a little bit different. But they're just holding, various small items. rubber bands and those little pom-poms, and some wood biscuits to craft with, and then also my small clothespins as well. And this is my very unorganized basket of jute twine and different strings. Down here, I made a makeshift paint holder out of, my husband had made some egg holders for his mom, and these were, the sort of the prototype, and it didn't work out, and so I said, don't throw those away, and it fit these bottles of paint just right. And so that's a little bit of a weird item, but I just took wood glue and glued all three of those egg racks together, and where the egg, would go, it fit, these apple barrel paints and folk art, the folk art paints, acrylic paints. And then I did take and dot the color on each lid so that I could see what color it was. I just have an old book there that I have been using the pages out of to craft with. And then in this crate that I made quite a few videos back out of 5-gallon paint stir sticks and some Dollar Tree chalkboards that's holding all of my spray paint. And then down here in the bottom where there's doors is more of the, sort of ugly organizing containers here. I love these plastic pull-out, I don't even remember, I've had them for so long, these plastic pull-out drawers, and I was able to separate them and put them on two different shelves. And then on top of, I don't do jewelry making, but that's just holding like beads and jewelry making type things. And on top I have some hardware there organized and some wooden letters. I don't have very many wooden letters yet, so they all fit there. And then below that I have just anything that's paper for crafting in there. And then below that, all my scrapbook paper. I don't have very much scrapbook paper. I don't have a place for it really. This room is so small, and I've got to make some more storage solutions in here. But I have all that in there. I still have some labels to make, but in this container I have various berry garland from Dollar Tree, just trying to keep all the colors that I come across and keep some of each color. And here I have all like the decorative scissors, knives, and different like pokers. This is just for anything small, any small florals that I couldn't stick in with the larger where they would just fall through or get lost. And then all the battery powered lights from the Dollar Tree in here. A couple of solar ones stuck in there as well. My stickers and stencils bin is nearly full, so I'm either going to have to stop buying or split those up into another container. It's more difficult than I realized it would be to group things together and to think about what things went together, and really it's whatever your mind thinks is right, because you're the one going to be looking for the item. So if you think certain things should be grouped together, because you don't always, sometimes you have to group different categories together because you don't have enough items in one category to justify it having its own space. But all these little things would be just awful digging out of larger boxes. There are some small things that you want to have organized in small bins, because they would just get lost in the mix if you put them in a big drawer or a big box of other items. With these wood cutouts and these small finials, these small wooden shapes, it was always very aggravating to have to dig these small pieces out of the larger wood, wood items boxes that I have. In these larger tins, those were another craft project from an older video. I just have pillow fill stuff down into those containers. The bottom one is pretty big. It's an old popcorn tin. And then, so I actually was able to fit a lot of pillow fill into those. And over here in the corner, I just have a little stool just keeping stuff off of that vent and have some containers there in that basket to craft with. Over here are my frames and then just various items. And over here in this corner is like tall items that need to lean in the corner, very tall. Skewer sticks and yardsticks and dowels and such. On my desk, I have the things that I need to have at hand quickly, like paintbrushes and scissors and twine, and that's what this whole, what's in this whole desk is just items to craft with, different tools. And then obviously, you're going to want your most used items in the top drawers so it's easier to access them. And then, as you go further down, in the drawers, maybe things that you use less. That's how I did it anyway. And these drawers aren't super organized. I mean, they're a little bit organized, but it's not, one of those wow, when some people that are very organized and you open the drawers, but it works. It's functional for me. And here I just have, some of the larger tools that I use, garden shears, miter shears, Crocodile Big Bite, and then this roll of paper from Walmart is just the perfect size. I think it's maybe in their pack, like where they sell the aisle where that has the boxes, like if you're packing to move or ship things. And then here in the bottom is all my excess glue and larger bottles of glue and some more tools. My staple gun, my Dremel that I've yet to do anything with. And I'm sorry for the sort of shaky camera work. I'm not used to filming these types of videos. I'm usually, using a stationary holder. Underneath my desk, I don't need a whole lot of foot room as much as is under there, and so I do have some more storage under there of my canvases. And in the drawer that's right in front of me when I'm crafting, I have all the stuff that I really do grab for, finger protectors, my most used glue and scissors. And in this pencil case or pencil container there from Dollar Tree, I have my X-Acto knives. Up above on the wall, some of it is storage, but most of it's decorative. I have some notebooks there for future crafts and just some little embellishments. And this music box up here, I don't know, there are some storage items I have around that are still empty that I haven't decided what to do with yet. I'm still organizing as I go along and as I use the room to see, what works best for me. But I have this little jewelry box up here. I wasn't going to show you guys, but I think I'll turn the sound back on here. It, plays some pretty music. And I want to redo the box, but I also don't want to mess with the original paint. I don't think it's worth anything. I'll show the bottom and the sticker that's under there, but I just really liked it. I'm not crazy about the picture that's in the front of it. I'll definitely change that out, but I don't know if I want to mess with the paint. I think I might just leave it original, but I do need to work on the hinges. In this little cabinet, I just have some random items, some water for when I need to water down my paint. And then in the drawers, just some more craft supplies, some loose makeup to use while crafting, and some metal book rings and metal rings. This was a little spice rack. Spice racks and spice bottles are good for organizing small craft items. I'm thinking about putting, I have more bottles. Thinking about putting my different glitters in them to put up there in that little spice cabinet there. And then I just have some metal clips in the drawers there. The chair that I craft in, it's really old. I reupholstered it really, kind of poorly. I didn't know what I was doing many years ago. I mean, it's still holding up. It looks good enough. It was in pretty rough shape, and so I don't mind using it for crafting, because sometimes when you craft, paint will even get on your chair, different things that you're using. And this chair is in rough enough shape, but this seat on it is really big and comfortable. And but the only bad thing about a large seat is that it won't, scoot all the way up underneath the desk, but I don't mind so much. I drilled a hole in the top of the desk to put my holder to video, to make my videos, and so I have that taken down right here, but usually I have a phone holder there to hold the phone while I video my crafts. My niece got me several of these things on this wall here, and one was this poster of these paper dolls that are Little Women themed, and I have intentions of taking a good quality photo of this poster and offering it to y'all, giving it to y'all as a printable if, anyone is interested in that. I just thought it was really pretty. It looks old. I don't think the paper seems old, the style seems old, so I think it's old. But I have intentions of doing that. And then my mother-in-law painted that little painting up top, and my cousin, just little random stuff there. A plaque that my cousin made me when I was a kid that I had up in my room. So just random things to personalize and make it feel homey. Above the door there, I just had it, a silhouette printed from, I believe, the 1800s. I have intentions of changing out the light fixture. I put that on my Christmas list from my husband, so I showed him which light fixture I wanted for this room. So there's lots more changes that I want to make in here and things that I want to do. I have a blanket hanging as a curtain, as a makeshift curtain, and it looks, good enough. But I did want to show this door. It was gray, just from the manufacturer, and then I painted it with some white primer, and then went over it with some gold acrylic paint, and then I watered down some antique wax and just tried to make it look older. So here it is, and it had like white plastic grid between the panes of glass, and the white grid did not look good with the gold door, and so I just got a roll of vinyl tape from Amazon that was gold, and then I also tried to age it up a little bit to match the door, and I think it looks good. When you walk up to it, you can see the white grid behind it, but you really have to look for it. It looks surprisingly good for being tape, on the glass there, covering it up. And then on this curtain rod, it did have a clear glass finial, I guess you'd call it, on the end there of the curtain rod, and I did use the Elmer's clear glue with brown food coloring technique to sort of yellow that up and make it look older. But that's it for today. There are more changes to make. I want to replace the very fancy cardboard box system I have going on with a piece of furniture, probably a thrifted dresser. Even if I could afford IKEA, there isn't one anywhere close to me, and even if there was, I really prefer secondhand items to the IKEA look. Thank you for joining me on this quick tour of my craft room. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any future craft room videos. I will make an update, do an update video, anytime I make multiple changes in the room, just to update, because I know that I love watching craft room videos. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.